Welcome on in. I'm going to teach you how to make fresh tomato sauce. This recipe calls for 16 tomatoes, 1 onion, 1 garlic clove, 3/4 of an ounce of basil, and for the salt, we're going to eyeball it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slice the other side of this tomato, not the stem side, this side. I'm going to slice a slice in it. The reason why is I'm going to approach these tomatoes so they're easy to peel. I have to peel the skin off the tomatoes so they're easier to cook and there's no skin in your tomato sauce. So as you can see, doesn't matter how far you go deep because you're going to cut these up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this on high heat and get this to a boil. So we're going to grab these 2 tomatoes, we're going to drop them in, and we're going to leave them in for about 30 seconds to a minute. The reason why is we're trying to watch and wait for the skin to separate from the tomato. So while these are sitting here, I'm going to drop 2 more. Now remember, the water's hot, so be very careful. Now since we waited, it's been about a minute, I'm going to slowly take these out. I'm gonna strain them. I'm gonna bring them over here. You can see how they peel right off. If you have the water hot, the skin is just peeling off. You wanna remove the skin so you can make perfect tomato sauce. If you're having this issue right here, you're gonna take a little paring knife and you're just gonna peel off whenever it's catching. I'm only peeling 6 tomatoes. Make sure you follow the recipe. You need to peel 16 tomatoes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them, I'm gonna cut them in half, I'm gonna lay them down, and I'm gonna take out this stem. In order to take out this stem, I have to cut a little triangle out of the bottom of them. So I'm gonna do that to all of them. You're just cutting a little triangle out of the bottoms of them. So now since we have these peeled, and we have the core taken out, we're gonna line one up and we're gonna cut it into little chunks. So you have to be very careful with tomatoes when you're cutting these. They're very juicy and they're slippery, so you don't wanna cut yourself. So you have to hold your fingers like this and you have to take your time. You can't be fast when you cut tomatoes. So your tomatoes should now look like this. I'm gonna get these set to the side and I now have to cut the onion and the garlic and the basil to prepare to make tomato sauce. Remember, it's good practice to keep your area clean and organized while preparing your food. So now we're gonna cut the onion. I'm gonna cut off the end, the other end. I'm gonna cut it right here, just put a slice in it. I'm gonna peel it back. Set this aside, set this to the side. I'm gonna cut this in half. And I'm only gonna do one side and you're gonna repeat the process on the other one. You're gonna cut. And then you're gonna cut again. Little tiny sections, little dices. And you're gonna end up with a little consistency like this. So we're done cutting the onions. I'm gonna put them in a bowl. And we're gonna move on to the garlic. Now we have the garlic to do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bust it up. Get a little strength. As you can see, we're just taking off and getting all the garlic out. You kinda gotta use a little strength here. And you're gonna put all your garlic, clovers in a pile and all the leaves to the side. So the next step is we're gonna crush these garlic. We're gonna take one, smash it. We're gonna take off all the outer edge of the shell still. That's crushed off of it. We're gonna line it up, make sure it's nice and clean. And you gotta be careful. You're just gonna cut it real small. So now we're gonna cut up our basil. So we're gonna line it all up. The first thing you do though, before you line it all up, is you have to rinse off your basil. So you're gonna line it all up, all the leaves, all the stems this way. And you're gonna hold it nice and tight. And you're gonna slice it. You're gonna toss the stems, you don't need the stems. Then you're gonna turn and you're gonna cut the other way with the basil. Almost into a dice form, just like the onions, the tomatoes, the garlic. All this is gonna be diced to make tomato sauce. We're gonna transfer also the basil to a container too. First, turn your stovetop on high heat. Make sure to properly clean out your saucepan. Then evenly apply olive oil to your pan. Now we're gonna get cooking. Add your onions and garlic. Then we're going to saute our garlic and onion. You'll know they're finished when the bottom of the pan is completely brown. Now it's time to add your fresh picked tomatoes. Once the tomatoes are added, turn your stovetop down to medium heat. Slow cook your tomatoes for 20 to 30 minutes. For this next part, I'm going to use my KitchenAid hand blender to get the desired texture for the tomato sauce. Keep in mind there is no right or wrong texture when making tomato sauce. It's your preference. Now since the tomato sauce is finished, like, comment, and share, and I'm gonna enjoy.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect?
Yeah, I think this is the end of the video.
Yeah, perfect. That's some good sauce. Is it?
That's it.
Cool.